I'm happy to share that our YouTube live is successful. A warm welcome. I'm happy to share that our YouTube live is successful. A warm welcome. I'm happy to share that our YouTube live is successful. A warm welcome to one and all. I welcome you at this 1 week online faculty development program on innovative learning strategies in science for sustainable research, organized by PGN Research Department of Chemistry of this SPDM Arts Commerce Science College Shirpur, a branch of renowned Kisan Vidya Prasarak Sanstha Shirpur. This FDP program is organized in collaboration with School of Chemical Science, KBC North Maharashtra University Jalgaon, and in association with Indian Society of Analytical Scientists, ISAS Pune chapter. Therefore, we mention special thanks for their support to this FDP. We have delighted here for the presence of our patron and inaugurator of today's inauguration function, Honorable Respected Tusharji Randhe, President, Kisan Vidya Prasarak Sanstha Shirpur, and today's chief guest, our nominated trustee, respected ex-principal Dr. S.N. Patel sir, as well as our trustee, Honorable Shri Rohitji Nande, who all present here virtually to support us. My special welcome to our convener, Chief Convener, Principal S.S. Rajput sir, Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology, KBC North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. I also welcome our convener, Professor Dr. D.S. More sir, Director, School of Chemical Science, KBC North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Participants, we have with us today's keynote speaker, Dr. Nilima Ma'am, former professor and head Department of Chemistry, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune. Last but not least, I welcome all the participant faculty members because without you all, this faculty development program could not start, as in all program we required audience as well. I also welcome our Vice Principal, Dr. F.M. Bagul sir, and Vice Principal and Head of Department of Chemistry, Dr. Mahire ma'am, and all organizing committee member, faculty member, welcome you one and all. Before moving further, let me brief you about Kisan Vidya Prasarak Sanstha. Freedom fighter, Gandhian patriotic, Karmavir Venkatrao Tanaji Randhir was the founder president of our Sanstha. Founder president of our Sanstha. For the welfare of tribal and weaker students, he decided to establish an academic institution. As a result, KVC Sanstha was established on 15 June 1941, and this college started by Kisan Vidya Prasad Sanstha in 1962. It is the most senior college in Dhule district. College is located at 18-acre extensive campus. College provides for instruction in various undergraduate, postgraduate courses like arts, commerce, science. The college secured CGPA 3.22 A grade in third cycle of NAC re-accreditation. In December 2023, we have successfully completed 1 year span of our A grade. It is always prestigious for us. IQAC regularly promote for research and quality enhancement activity as well as MOU and collaboration. IQAC did active role in COVID-19 pandemic by arranging more than 20 live webinars, student development seminar, workshop, e-workshop, as well as two international conferences, two national conferences, one week faculty development program in collaboration of KBC North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Thank you. Now it's time for inauguration by lighting the lamp. Light brings brightness with it and removes the darkness. Light make it possible to see things clearly. Shubham Karoti.
या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
Indian culture says Atiti Devo Bhava. Therefore, on behalf of organizing committee, felicitation of all the distinguished guests is my duty. So I virtually welcome here Honorable respected Dr. Tusharji Rande by offering him bunch of flower as token of love. I also welcome respected ex-principal Dr. S.N. Patel sir by offering bunch of flower as token of love. I also welcome our trustee Honorable Rohit Rande by offering bunch of flower as token of love. I also welcome virtually respected Principal S.S. Rajput sir, Dean Faculty of Science and Technology by offering bunch of flower as token of love. I also welcome respected convener Professor Dr. D.H. More sir by offering bunch of flower virtually as token of love. I also welcome Honorable keynote speaker, respected Professor Nilima Rajurkar ma'am by offering bunch of flower as token of love. Participants, we have inauguration message from our inaugurator, Honorable Honorable Tusharji Rande. As he is busy with other meetings, he conveyed his best wishes to our faculty development program and stated that to start the discussion for healthy research. So that this faculty development program is now open for discussion. Participants, we also have message from our respected principal Dr. S.H. Rajput sir, Dean Faculty of Science and Technology. I am now reading his sir's message. Namaskar, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, on behalf of SPDM College and School of Chemical Science and my on behalf, I extend warm welcome and heartily welcome to all the participants to this FDP program. In the new education policy, there are more emphasis on research, skill development, innovation. In view of these findings, we are going to organize such sort of program. I am sure this FDP will provide very good opportunity to improve these things. I am grateful that for this FDP, we have with us very good resource person that will share their subject related knowledge. I am happy. I'm sure you will get enjoying with their knowledge. I would like to conclude my speech with sincere thanks to organizing team for their delegate work for this FDP and all honorable resource person. Thanks. Participants, we have respected principal SN Patel sir with us. I request honorable nominated trustee respected SN Patel sir to share some to share views on the occasion of this inauguration function before the audience. Over to you, Principal sir.
Thank you, Bakkar sir. On this good occasion, I welcome all the dignitaries of the inauguration function. I welcome on behalf of Sanstha and College keynote speaker, Professor Rajurkar Madam. She is also President of Indian Society of Analytical Scientists, Pune chapter. And I in advance thank for her for giving the association of the IASS for this FDP.
Thank you.
I respected Tushar Bhau, President of the Sanstha, respected Principal, respected Professor More sir, respected Vice Principal, respected Saroj, and all the participant organizing committee. It's my privilege to speak on inauguration function. Actually, I was not ready for this because I thought it is time for Tushar Bhau and respected principal. He is also the dean of science faculty, but due to the busy of their schedule, ultimately I have to speak something. Just I extend my best wishes for this a week FDP Faculty Development Program in association with IAS Pune chapter and in collaboration with School of Chemical Science, KBC, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Actually, this is the real opportunity for the new bodied researcher and the new faculty entering in the research. So I again wish my best wishes for the FDP, and here my words finished. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Participants, as we know, this program is organized in association with Indian Society of Analytical Scientists, ISAS Pune chapter. Therefore, it's time for ISAS song. You all are requested to listen to the song.
ISAS है हमारे भारतवर्ष की शान, ISAS है हमारे भारतवर्ष की शान, इसके सदस्यों का कार्य है महान, ISAS है हमारे भारतवर्ष की शान, ISAS है हमारे भारतवर्ष की शान, भारत भर में फैली हुई है इसकी अनेक शाखाएं, एक धागे से बंधी गई दिन से ISAS है हमारे भारतवर्ष की शान।
Now I request coordinator Dr. LP Chaudhary sir to brief us about this faculty development program, registration and other benefits. Over to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's my privilege to have as a coordinator for this key faculty development program. I'm sincerely thankful to our principal sir and administration for giving me this opportunity. It is our great pleasure to welcome you in this one-week faculty development program, which deliberated around the major topics of science and research. The program will provide updated information and knowledge in order to develop creative ideas, enhance skills, and to provide excellent education. I'm happy to share with you that 60 faculty members and research scholars from various colleges, universities, and academic institutions, as well as from different states like Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, are also participated in this faculty development program. And informative with a wonderful array of keynote and eminent speakers covering a wide range of topics in science. We hope your experience will be fruitful and long-lasting one. With your support and participation, the program will continue its success. Thank you. Now it's time for keynote address. So I request our Vice Principal and Head of Department, Dr. S.P. Mere ma'am, to introduce today's keynote speaker. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, everyone. Today's chief guest, Dr. Tusharji Rande, President, KVPS Sanstha, Shirpur. Mr. Rohitji Rande, Trustee, KVPS Sanstha, Shirpur. Dr. S.N. Patel, sir, ex-principal and trustee of KVPS Sanstha. Respected Professor S.S. Rajput, sir, Dean, Kavitri Vahinabai Chaudhary, Uttar Maharashtra Vidyapith, Science and Technology Division. Respected Professor D.H. More, sir, Director, School of Chemical Sciences, KVCN Middlegaon. Respected keynote speaker, respected Professor Nidhi Madhukar, madam. Coordinator of this FDP, Dr. L.P. Chaudhary, sir. IQC coordinator of our college, Dr. D.D. Thakkar. Organizing secretary of this FDP, Dr. P.G. Patil, sir. Organizing members, Dr. S.R. Patil, sir, Professor Nidhi Maharle, Dr. S.B. Chaudhary, sir, and all the participants. Welcome you again to the one-week online faculty development program, Innovative Learning Strategies in Science for Sustainable Research, and it is scheduled on 18th March to 23rd March 2024, and at 4 p.m. every day for 6 days. Welcome you all again. Now I am here to introduce ma'am, Professor Nilima Rajurkar, madam. Actually, she is the outstanding professor, she is outstanding researcher, she is outstanding scientist also. So now I am here to introduce ma'am. Dr. Nilima Rajurkar ma'am stands as a distinguished teacher, researcher in the field of academia with the experience for more than 4 decades at the Savitribai Phule Pune University as a former professor and head of Department of Chemistry, coupled with her roles as a former head of Department of Environmental Sciences also. Dr. Rajurkar is the fellow of Maharashtra Academy of Sciences and honorary fellow of the Indian Society of Analytical Sciences. She works in multidisciplinary domains, including but not limited to nuclear and radiation chemistry, electrochemistry, neutron activation analysis, environmental pollution, wastewater treatment, medicinal plant chemistry, synthesis of Ayurveda bhasma, radiopharmaceuticals, and public health. Throughout her illustrious career, Dr. Rajurkar has illuminated in the academic path of numerous scholars, mentoring 16 students for the MPhil and 30 students for the PhD degree. Drawing talent from across India and abroad, her scholarly endeavor have found resonance with from the 300 research publications gracing the page of both national as well as international journals, in the reputed journals, as well as in the conferences. With the impressive H index 21 and IT index is 37, her work has garnered by the remarkable 2,216 citations. Beyond her scholarly pursuit, Dr. Rajurkar has been a work in the shaping the scientific landscapes. She served as the editor of prestigious international journal Clean Soil, Air and Water by William Blackwell and lent her expertise as the peer team member of the NAC. The International Biographical Research Centre at Cambridge, UK, acknowledged her one of the leading scientists in the nuclear chemistry in 2009, while Indian Council of Chemists bestowed upon her esteemed Professor Radha Somkeshwara Rao Award for the Best Woman Scientist in the Chemistry in 2014. Dr. Rajurkar's commitment to the excellence continues to be recognized with the accolades such as the ISAS Best Performance Excellence Award in 2022. ISAS Award was the excellence for her outstanding leadership quality in 2023. An appreciation award for her contribution in publication of Journal of ISAS in 2024. Her global footprint extends to countries like China, Denmark, Italy, Germany, France, Australia, Belgium, and UK, where she has graced podium with her invited talks and participated in the conferences. A prolific author, she co-authored the book Nuclear Chemistry to the Problems with the Professor H.G. Erniker and contributed to the book on the science and technology tailored for the competitive exams for the students. Dr. Rajurkar has organized the plethora of national and international conferences, workshops, seminars with a different scientific themes. She has been a referee for PhD theses from the various extreme universities and institutes. Her endeavor in science popularization manifest in more than 150 invited talks delivered in different universities and institutes across the India as well as in the abroad. Dr. Rajurkar has assumed leadership roles in extreme scientist associations such as Vice President of the Indian Association of Nuclear Chemists, Allied Scientists, convener of Indian Women Scientists Association Pune branch, Vice President of Marathi Vignan Parishad Pune Vibhag, and EC member of the Indian Congress Presently, she holds the chairmanship of Indian Society of Analytical Scientists Pune chapter and editor-in-chief of journal ISAS, along with editing ebook titled ISAS webinar series, few experts. In addition to her scholarly contributions, Dr. Rajurkar has penned a book titled Nuclear Analytic Techniques and Marathi booklet titled Kirnosari Aushade Rog Nidan Va Upchar. She also wrote the biography of the former Vice Chancellor Professor S. Patil sir in Marathi. Her membership in numerous scientific societies attends to her commitment to the science popularization, shaping her into revered figure of the scientific community. So, eminent personality available for guidance. So, welcome, ma'am. Welcome again, and proceed for your lecture. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, let me thank Saroj Madam, Patel sir, Principal sir, management of the college for inviting ISAS Pune chapter to join hands with them for organizing this program and inviting me as a keynote speaker here. So, dear participants and the dignitaries, I welcome you all for today's program on behalf of ISAS Pune chapter. Before I proceed with the lecture, let me give you some brief information about the ISS, that is Indian Society of Analytical Scientists. This was established in 1983 at BARC Mumbai. Issues have already been released, and 8th issue will be released at the end of April. So this is a quarterly e-journal, which is free of cost, free access to all. There are no any charges for publication. It is an e-journal having ISSN number as well as the DOI number, which is the universal number. You can see your paper anywhere from the board. So I suggest the researchers who are present here to publish your valuable research in our journal. Now about the ISA Pune chapter, it was established in October 21, that is during the COVID period. We have established this chapter with the aim to reach to the different sectors of the society to promote excellence in science and technology. And now we have more than 80 life members, and they are from university departments, different colleges, then from industry, from medical field, different national institutes, and so on. So 2 of the fellows are from your Shirpur, that is Saroj Madam and Patel Sir. So they have taken initiative to have this program along with ISS Pune chapter. So in order to achieve our goals, we have organized and are organizing the lectures by eminent scientists, academicians, then from the doctors, from the industrialists, and so on. Above all, we are also organizing programs for the students, for UG as well as PG students. So we have organized the quiz competition, lecture competition, and the quiz e-poster competition for them. And then we have taken an initiative to write the booklets, which are at reasonable prices for the different analytical techniques for the different students, for PG as well as UG students, as well as teachers also. So 2 booklets are already published. One of them is Nuclear Analytical Techniques, which is written by me. And another one is on nanosynthesis, which is written by Manisha Bora. And we have very good response all over India for these 2 books. If at all you are interested, you can tell either Patel Sir or Saroj Madam. And I also request you to become a member of this society, because we are organizing several programs, and I am happy to inform you that recently we have received the Best Chapter Award 2nd time, as well as few more awards to our members. So I suggest you to become a member. For details, you can contact any of the 2 members from this your Shirpur. Okay, so this is all about the ISS, which I wanted to tell about you. Now about the lecture, radiopharmaceuticals for healthcare. Now, whenever you hear the word radioactivity, everybody is very much afraid of it, because they always remember the Hiroshima, Nagasaki, as well as other nuclear accidents. That is always the destructive side of it. But you always forget positive side of it. There are a large number of peaceful applications of radioactivity, and most of them are in the field of medicine. So today I'm going to talk about the radiopharmaceuticals, which is a part of a nuclear medicine, and how they are useful. We'll go to next slide, please. Okay, in summary, first I will tell you something about the historical background, then how the radioisotopes which are used for various purposes, they are used. Then we'll see what are the units, how the radiations are measured. Then what you mean by nuclear medicine and radiopharmaceutical. Then what are the general principles to use these radiopharmaceuticals. Then radionuclide generator, which is very important in nuclear medicines. I will describe in brief about it. Then what are the various tracers used for this purpose. Then we'll see in vivo as well as in vitro diagnosis for different diseases. then about radiation therapy, how it is useful. And at the end, I will tell you something about iodine 125 brachytherapy source. Its designing, which was done in our laboratory. Next slide, please. Okay, the golden era of nuclear and radiation chemistry started at the end of 19th century. So on 8 November 1895, Röntgen discovered the X-rays. And just 114 days after that, Becquerel discovered the radioactivity. At that time, it was known as Becquerel rays. And then the name was given radioactivity by Curie, who invented polonium and radium in 1898. All of them conferred with Nobel Prizes. Röntgen in 1901 and Becquerel and Curie together in 1903. There were 12 more Nobel Prizes in this field. Next slide, please. Okay. George Havasey, he first time used radioisotope for tagging. There is one story about him. He used to eat in the mess, and as those students who always go to mess and have food, they always have doubt in their mind that the whatever food is given is of earlier days, that is yesterday's food is served. So he also had same thing in his mind. So what he has done, he put some radioisotope into the food, and next day he brought a gem counter with him and shown some activity and showed to that in charge person, yes, it is made up of the yesterday's whatever was left out. So this is a story about it, but this is how radioisotope will help you to know something. Okay, in 1930, Lawrence invented cyclotron, and very important discovery of artificial radioactive by Frederick and Irene and Joliot Curie. That is daughter and son-in-law of Curie's. And after that, many radioisotopes can be synthesized after the year 1934. Another one is Ottohahn and Strassmann, that is called nuclear fission. Then Fermi and co-workers, nuclear reactor. So all these discoveries helped a lot, and we have many, many applications in different fields. Next slide, please. Okay, now let us see how these radioisotopes are synthesized, because naturally occurring radioisotopes are there. But they are few in number, but synthesized or artificial radioisotopes are more than 2000. So how they are prepared? First way is by bombarding with the neutrons. Example is given here. Manganese 55, when bombarded with the neutrons, we get the radioisotope manganese 56, whose half-life is 2.58 hours. While bombardment with charged particle, that is magnesium 24 bombarded with deuterons, alpha particles are given out, sodium 22 is formed. And just see energy I have written specifically on the right-hand side. It is energy of neutron. In case of N-gamma reaction is 0.1 electron volt. These are the thermal neutrons. While for charged particle, very high energy is needed, 8.5 MeV, that is million electron volt. Why? Because neutron doesn't have any charge. While the charged particles have charge, they need certain barrier to enter the nucleus to have the nuclear reaction. That's the difference. Then third way is decay of radioisotopes itself. For example, 130 tellurium, which is formed, which undergoes N-gamma reaction to form 131 tellurium, it decays to give iodine 131, whose half-life is 8.4 days. So this is how some of the ways to synthesize the radioisotopes. Next one, please. Okay, so as we have seen in 1934, artificial radioactivity was discovered, and after that, number of radioisotopes go on increasing. In 1937, number of radioisotopes were 200, 44, 450, 49, 650, 1963, about 1300, and now it is more than 2000 radioisotopes can be synthesized artificially. Next one. Okay, so before we go to actual discussions, let us see what are the units of radioactivity. The first unit is Curie. So symbol is C capital I small. What is Curie? 1 Curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 raised to 10 DPS. DPS means disintegrations per second. So this is not any magic number, 3.7 into 10 raised to 10, but it is the activity or radioactivity of 1 gram of radium. As Curie's invented radium in order to honor them because they named the radioactivity phenomenon as radioactivity. In order to honor them, this unit was developed. Then, as you know, Becquerel was the one who invented the radioactive. So now the SI unit of radioactivity is not Curie. Curie is used by many people, but SI unit is Becquerel. Symbol is B capital Q small. And 1 Becquerel is equal to 1 disintegrations per second. Okay, see, these are known for the measuring the strength of the radioisotopes, which we'll be buying or using. Then what are the other units? Now, these units will come in further discussion. So I will spend a few more minutes on it. So these are developed by chemists, physicists, as well as biologists. So first is rad. The symbol is small r. This is nothing but absorption of 100 ergs of energy per gram of the substance. So this is developed by chemists. And SI unit of this rad is gray. And it is capital G, small y. So 1 gray is equal to 100 rads. Roentgen was the unit developed by physicists. A symbol is capital R. So it is nothing but absorption of such a dose that would produce in 1 cc of dry air 1 ESU electricity, either positive or negative side. Then next comes that by biologists. So they consider how these radiation, they interact with the biological cells, how effective they are. Depending on that, they have given certain number. It is RBE. It stands for relative biological effectiveness. So they have assigned certain numbers for different radiation. It is 1 for X-rays and gamma rays, 2.5 for thermal neutrons, 10 for alpha particles, fast neutrons, and protons. Then comes Roentgen equivalent mammal, which is equal to RBE into rads, while Sievert is RBE into gray. So Sievert is the SI unit of ray. So it is RBE into gray. So these are the various units which are used while we talk about the radioactivity, how much dose you are getting exposed to, and all this. Next one, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Participants.
Hello, ma'am.
Participants, there is a technical issue with our keynote speaker. Don't worry, she will be with us within 2 minutes.
Hello, ma'am.
आता ऐकू येते का?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the disturbance because there is a power problem at my house. I'm very sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
So, can you go to previous slide, please? Saroj? Can you go to previous slide, please?
Yes, ma'am, I am doing.
Okay, so these are the units which are used for expressing the dose which is absorbed or what is the strength, etc. Now let us see where these are used. Go to next slide, please. Okay, now as I said, there are a large number of applications in the medical field. So let us see what are they: diagnostic as well as therapeutic. In case of diagnostic uses, usually low dose is used and exposure time is also very short. While when it is used for the therapeutic purposes, generally high doses are used and it depends for which purpose you want. It may be short or long time exposure. As well as this is also used for sterilization of the medical equipments. Next one, please. Okay. So let us see for diagnostic purposes, what for it is used. For X-ray radiation, X-ray when we take, most of you must have undergone X-ray for different purpose. So under X-ray, radiograph, fluoroscopy, as well as CT scan. Then it is also used for diagnosis in nuclear medicines. And in nuclear medicines, the radiopharmaceuticals are used. Next, please. Okay, so you must be wondering when your X-ray is taken, that person goes out, he is having certain lead jacket and all these things, and there is one, what you can say, curtain in between you and him. Why all these things are there? Because you are going to get exposed to it. And that is not very high dose, that I must tell you. And within a second, your X-ray is over. So he says, wait, I will check your X-ray and I will let you know again I have to take or not. So it is much, please go to previous one. Okay, so it is much less than a second. It is very short time exposure. So how much dose? Just now we have seen various units. So let us see how much dose is given. For dental X-rays, 8 to 10 millirem. For chest, it is 6 to 10 millirem. Mammogram, 30 to 50 millirem. And for hip X-ray, 40 to 80 millirem. Next, please. Okay, so in case of fluoroscopy for X-ray radiation, it is a long time exposure. It is a few minutes or sometimes longer time is needed. Higher dose is given in case of barium enema, about 600 to 900 millirem. And upper gastrointestinal tract, it is 350 to 550 millirem. Next, please. Okay, in case of CT scan, so you must have heard about CTs. Somebody is having cancer or that, PET, CT, all these are the tests which are taken. So what is CT? It is a computer tomography, computational tomography. It is series of short exposures at different angles. So you can get information from different angles. So, and it is analyzed by computer and then it is displayed. So it will give you the cross-sectional view of the anatomy because from different angles, the exposure is given and we get the X-ray. And these are the medium doses. For a CT scan of head, it is about 200 to 300 millirem. And the whole body, it is 300 to 400 millirem. Next, please. Okay, now let us see what are nuclear medicine. Because radiopharmaceutical is the basis of nuclear medicine. So nuclear medicine is a special branch of medicine. when it started, when the discovery of X-ray and artificial radioactivity was there, we can say the origin of nuclear medicine lies at the end of 19th century. Then first time in 1946, the radioiodine was used to treat the thyroid cancer. Now we are going to see how it is done afterwards. Then in the decade of 50s, use of nuclear medicine was started at a larger scale, that is for other organs also. And in 1960s, the term nuclear medicine was used as a special branch of medicine. In the decade of 70s, other organs also started using these means for the treatment or diagnostic purposes. And in 1980s, first time it was used to study the heart diseases. Next, please. Next, please. Now, how the nuclear progress in nuclear medicine was there. So, in the development of this branch, Dr. Homi Bhabha played a very, very important role in starting this branch and in developing it further. So, Department of Atomic Energy got a research grant in 1960. And some of you must be knowing Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, that is a radiation medicine center. So here the cancer is diagnosed as well as treated also. So in 1963, this started. Then the Nobel laureate, that is Dr. Ernest Lawrence, was a friend of Dr. Homi Bhabha. He provided many equipments for further development. Then Bhabha Atomic Research Centers, it is called as BARC, and Board of Research in Isotope Technology, which is popularly known as BRIT. Both these institutes played a major role in the progress of nuclear medicine branch in India. So nobody can start as it is the nuclear medicine or its center. We need the approval from Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. It is called as AERB. So AERB approval is necessary. Even when we wanted to start research in this particular field, our lab is to be recognized by AERB. So there are 520 nuclear medicine centers which are approved by AERB. So the data which is given is up to 31st January 24. Out of these 520, there are 75 centers in Maharashtra and 20 centers are in Pune. Next, please. Okay. So by knowing how this nuclear medicine branch further progress, now the backbone of nuclear medicine is radiopharmaceuticals. Let us see what they are. Well, radiopharmaceutical is nothing but it is a radioactive compound which is used in the nuclear medicine for the diagnosis as well as for the therapy of different human diseases. So what is the use of this radiopharmaceutical? It gives you anatomical as well as physiological information of the organ of interest. So both the information can be obtained with this. Then how they are designed? The designing is based on the preferential localization of radiopharmaceutical in a given organ or its participation in the physiological function of the organs. What you mean by this is, for example, whatever iodine we take is going towards our thyroid. So its localization is in thyroid. So we want to study thyroid, you have to use radiopharmaceuticals which contains the iodine. That is the meaning of this third point. Next one, please. Okay, now let us see what are the general principles while we are using these radiopharmaceuticals. So they provide important information about the disease, which could not be obtained by any other way, which is very, very special branch, and radiopharmaceuticals are very special. While using this radiopharmaceutical, of course, as you know, radiations are having bad effects, as well as it is good for the treatment as well as a diagnosis also. So we have to consider risk of using it as well as the benefit of using it. So this risk to benefit ratio is very important, and accordingly the dose of that is managed. Then we have to consider the optimum time of radiopharmaceutical in the body. It should not be there in the body for a very long time. That is also very important. Then the type of radiation which is emitted, that is whether you have to use gamma emitter or beta emitter, it depends on the purpose. That we'll see later on. And another important, you always know half-life of radioisotope. That is time taken to become half of its original value. But only few people know about this biological half-life. So while using the radiopharmaceuticals, you have to consider both radioactive as well as biological half-life. Biological half-life is time taken to reduce half the concentration from your body. It is coming out of your body, how much time it takes. That is also important. Next one. Okay. So what are the ideal diagnostic properties of the radiopharmaceutical? So first thing is, it should be a pure gamma emitter. Its energy, it should lie between 100 to 250 kilo electron volt. How much should be the effective half-life? It should be 1.5 times of the test duration. For example, for the test, if it is 4 hours are needed, for example, then effective half-life should be 1.5 into 4, that is 6 hours. What you mean by effective half-life is, the relation is 1 upon effective half-life is equal to 1 upon radioactive half-life plus 1 upon biological half-life. That will give you the effective half-life. So that is to be considered. And effective or biological half-life is not known for many of the radioisotopes, but those who are used very routinely, it is known. For example, fluorine 108, fluorine 18 is used for different purposes. So its radiological half-life is 118 minutes, biological half-life is 6 hours, and effective half-life is 1.4 hours. So these are totally different. It may happen that radioactive half-life is long, but biological is short, or vice versa. It plays very important role. Next point is high target to non-target ratio. That means which organ you want to study, highest activity should reach there and not to the surrounding area. Then next is minimal radiation dose to patient and nuclear medicine personnel. You should not unnecessarily use very high dose. Whatever is required, only that is to be used. Then you have to consider the patient safety also. Then chemical reactivity of that particular radiopharmaceutical. Important is it must be economic as well as readily available also. And simple in preparation and quality control. So these are the properties of the ideal diagnostic radiopharmaceutical. Next, please. Okay, so these are some of the radioisotopes which are mentioned here, which are used very routinely. So technetium 99M, it is in the form of sodium pertechnetate. It is used for brain, blood, whole imaging. Iodine 131 is in the form of sodium iodide. It is used for thyroid diagnosis and therapy. Xenon 133, which is in the gaseous form. It is used for pulmonary inhalation imaging as well as cerebral blood flow studies. Thallium 201, which is in the form of thallus chloride, is used for myocardial imaging. Gallium 67 in the form of gallium citrate used in tumor imaging. These are some of the examples. Many more are there. Some of them we'll see afterwards. Next one. Okay. So what are radionuclide generators? You go to any nuclear radiation medicine center, it will have radionuclide generator, which will produce the radioisotope of interest, which can be converted in the form of radiopharmaceutical, which you want. So these generators, they will allow to separate chemically short-lived radioactive daughter nuclei that from the long-lived parent nuclei. So there is an equilibrium between them. So this radionuclide generator is popularly used for the production of 99M technetium. So it is separated from molybdenum 99. So this molybdenum 99 is obtained by N-gamma reaction on molybdenum 98, and it decays to give this 99M technetium. So as seen here, You can see there are different curves are shown, activity versus time. The straight line which is shown here, it shows the decay of the main radioisotope, long-lived one. And short-lived isotope is formed after decay of long-lived isotope. So first it grows in concentration and then it decays. So at this particular interval of time, it is extracted. It is a analogy is given, milking the cow. After particular time, the cow is milked. Same way, after a particular time, you have to extract the technetium from the molybdenum. And this 99M, that is a metastable technetium, is called as the workhorse of the nuclear medicine. It has tremendous applications. So it is called as the workhorse of nuclear medicine. Next one, please. Okay, this is how it looks. It is a schematic diagram, of course. So as I said, 99 molybdenum is form 98 molybdenum. It decays to give 99M technetium. So you can see here, there is a alumina is there, on which this 99 molybdenum preparation is allowed to pass through. So here what happens is 99 molybdenum get absorbed, while 99M technetiums will not. So this can be eluted using sterilized saline solution. This is 0.09%. The saline which is used for the patients. Same is used here. And then it is eluted and then it is further converted in the particular form which is needed. Of course, there is a lead shielding to protect the person who is handling this radioactive generator. So all these are available in the radiation medicine centers. Next, please. Okay, so there will be in vivo diagnosis as well as in vitro. In vivo means it is injected inside the human being, and when it is carried out outside, it is called as in vitro. So let us first see about the in vivo diagnosis. So what first step here is you have to introduce the radiopharmaceutical into the patient. So this can be done by 3 ways. Either you can give him orally, you can inject, or if you want to study some respiratory problem, you ask him to inhale it. Then these are the gamma emitters. So gamma rays which are emitted by the radiopharmaceutical which is injected inside the body. These are monitored to get that whatever information is needed. And how they are measured? They are measured using gamma camera. Gamma camera is nothing but the sodium iodide doped with thallium. This is the detector which popularly known as the scintillation counter. Some of you must have used it. I think Patel sir have used this particular counter. Then here, how to distinguish whether it is a portion which is diseased or not. Because the diseased portion of the organ, it will differ from normal tissue by its tendency to take up the radiopharmaceutical. So sometimes there will be increased uptake as compared to normal or a reduced uptake. So whenever there is an increased uptake, these are called as hotspots. That is, the disease cells are taking more of the radiations. The cold spots are nothing but there is a uptake is reduced. That is, as compared to normal cells, radioactivity taken is less. Okay, so when we get hot spots and cold spots, in case of thallium-204 heart scan, the damaged portion, it gives the cold spots. While when the technetium-99M is used to detect the bone cancer, it gives the hot spots. That is the meaning of hot spots and cold spots. Next one, please. Okay, what is the gamma camera? Again, this is the schematic shown here. So there are collimators through which the radiations enter. The red one shows the detector that is just now mentioned. It is the sodium iodide doped with thallium. And then it is the electronic system, which will finally give you what are your activity or results. Next, please. Now let us see a popular technique in case of cancer, which is very popular. Whenever is detected, or you know that a particular may be having cancer, how much it is spread, whether he or she is having it. The first technique which is used is the positron emission tomography, popularly known as PET or PET. So basically it is used for the detection of cancer. It also gives information how much it is spreaded in the body. Once it is known that the person is having cancer, some treatment is given, then again it is reviewed by this technique only, and to see how much effectiveness of radiation therapy is there. So which radiopharmaceutical is used? It's called as FDG. It is nothing but fluorodeoxyglucose, wherein F18 radioisotope is used. So it acts as a scanning agent. Why it acts as a scanning agent? Because this FDG acts like glucose and it gets transported into cells and it gets trapped there. The malignant tumors and infection have increased glycolysis, and hence there will be increased uptake of FDG. When increased uptake, it means hotspots can be seen in that case. Next, please. Okay, so positron emission tomography. That means here positrons are used. What are positrons? It's nothing but neutron deficient isotopes. So some of the isotopes which are mentioned here, gallium-68, rubidium-82, fluorine-18. 80% cases of PET are they use the 18 fluorine, then nitrogen-13, carbon-11. So you can see their half-lives. Half-lives are very small, so that one can use. And as I given the example to you, this is the radiological half-life of 18 fluorine. Then its biological half-life is also less, and hence its effective half-life is less. That's why it is used in many of the cases. Next, please. Okay, so this is explain what it is actually. So it is a positron emitter. So this 18 fluorine nucleus has, it is a positron emitter. So here the proton gets converted to neutron, positron, that is beta plus, and a neutrino. So as shown here, the positron is gradual. Previous slide, please. Previous slide, please. Okay. So this positron, it is gradually losing its kinetic energy and it will interact with the surrounding atoms. And as shown here, this positron, it combines with the surrounding electron. And beauty of it, it undergoes annihilation, giving two gamma rays exactly in opposite direction at 180 degree. Previous slide, sir. Exactly in opposite direction at 180 degrees, both the gamma rays are given out. That's why this technique is useful to have three-dimensional view of the disease portion, because at different points, this PET is carried out and you can see its complete view, three-dimensional view of that particular affected portion. Okay, so this is in short what it is. Next one, please. Okay, so where applications of this PET technique are there? So it is general oxygen extraction, cerebral blood volume, cerebral blood flow, and so on. Large number of applications are there. They are in different forms. They are used, as I mentioned, oxygen 15, carbon 11, fluorine 18, gallium 68. These are the radioisotopes which are used in the radiopharmaceuticals. Next, please. Okay, this is in short, a person is allowed to go inside this where is positrons are emitted, it comes out, and these are the things where you can get the image. Two images are shown. This is a brain. One is the normal one, the another one, which you can see the difference, the person having schizophrenia. Next, please. Okay, so about the imaging process. There are two types, static imaging and dynamic imaging. So the example of PET which we have seen, it is a static image, because there is a time delay between injecting the tracer and buildup of its radiation in the organ. So this type of static studies are they are performed on the brain, bone, lungs, etc. While dynamic imaging is nothing but how the amount of radioactivity is built up is measured as a function of time there. And so that's why it is called as the dynamic studies. And usually they are performed on the kidneys as well as heart. Next, please. So static imaging, we have already seen one example, that of positron emission tomography. Now let us see the example of dynamic imaging. It is a renogram. So what is renogram? It is nothing but the dynamic images of the kidneys. And why you need to perform these renograms? This is to assess the individual kidney, whether there is any urinary tract infection, there is any obstruction, to see kidney transplant and so on. Next, please. Okay, so for such studies, different RI kits are available with BRIT, that is Board of Research in Isotope Technology. So MAC3 is the RI kit used, wherein technetium-99M is the radioisotope used. So this radioisotope which is used, it gets removed from the bloodstream by the kidneys. So after a few minutes only, that when it is injected, all radiation it goes and getting concentrated in the kidneys. So after 10 to 15 minutes, almost all the radiation should be in the bladder. Then the gamma camera, as we have seen, it takes reading after every few seconds, because it's a dynamic one, and this entire process go for the 20 minutes. Next, please. So you can see here, the first one shows the normal renogram, and second is the abnormal one. So you can see the changes which are occurring in the whatever radiations are measured with time. So from the looking at the graph itself, it will come to know whether it is a normal or affected kidney. Next, please. Okay, if you want to compare the different nuclear imaging techniques, that is CT, as we have already seen, computational tomography, PET, positron emission tomography, then one can also SPECT, that is single photon computational tomography. So here in case of CT, we get only anatomic information. What are used as X-rays. For in PET, we get physiological, metabolic, as well as molecular information. Here positrons are used. These are the radioisotope which I already mentioned to you. In case of SPECT, gamma rays are used, and here 99M technetium and iodine 123 is used. Next, please. Okay, so we have seen in vivo as well as in vitro for different purposes. But thyroiditis is the case wherein one can also carry out in vivo as well as in vitro diagnosis. I want to emphasize a bit more on this thyroiditis. Why? Because just I will go further and I will tell you. Now go to next slide, please. Okay, as all of you know, iodine is a macronutrient. It is very minute quantity it is needed, only 150 microgram. Total quantity which is present in our body is only 15 to 20 milligram. And it is mostly in our thyroid gland. Where this iodine is used, it is used for the synthesis of thyroid hormones. Why thyroid hormones are important? Because they are important for the normal growth as well as the development, which keeps us fit. If you have deficiency or even excess of iodine, both of them are harmful. And these are these thyroid is such a disease which is called as a silent killer. Many people, they don't know they are having thyroiditis and they will face many complications. So during my lectures, I always make people aware of this particular disease. That's why I'm going to spend a little more time on this. Next one, please. Okay, how much is the daily requirement? It depends on how much is the age up to 11 months, 50 microgram per day. 12 to 59 months, 90. 6 to 12 years, 120. Greater than 12 years, 150. And pregnant and lactating women, they need more. It is 200 micrograms per day. You can see it's very small amount, but it is very necessary. Next one, please. Okay, so how much is the daily requirement of iodine per person? It is 150 microgram. How much? It fits on the tip of a hair. Such a small quantity. How much is the lifetime requirement? You consider 70 years, for example, 5 grams. 1 teaspoonful. So whatever is mentioned, how much small requirement is, this daily requirement is very, very important for all times to come to keep you fit and well. Next, please. Okay, so whatever most of the iodine which we take from the food, whether it is a iodine deficient or excess or whatever it is, it gets accumulated in the thyroid glands, which plays vital role in the well-being, as we have seen. So in some people, gland becomes overactive. When it becomes overactive, it is called as hyperthyroiditis. In some people, it becomes sluggish. Then it is called as hypothyroiditis. Whether it is overactive or sluggish, both these conditions are unhealthy. And this will lead to the serious consequences. How to detect whether it is a hyper or hypothyroid? So radiopharmaceutical help us to know whether it is a hyper or hypo. And here, the radioisotope which is used is iodine 131. Next, please. Okay, so this iodine deficiency disorder is a worldwide problem. 150 crore people at national level and 20 crore people are at risk of IDD. You can imagine worldwide 150 crore. At national level, 20 crore people are at the risk of IDD. And out of this 20 crore, which we are talking about national level, 7.1 crore are getting affected by goiter. You must have seen the swollen thyroid gland in many people. And of course, there are other IDDs also. And there are several measures are taken, of course, but according to WHO, around 54 countries are still iodine deficient. This iodine deficiency is more prevalent in children as well as the pregnant women. So those people have to take more care. Next one, please. So in a recent survey, it is shown that is about 414 districts were surveyed. So 337 were found to be endemic for this IDD. Several cases have been observed for the goiter, and 22 districts in Maharashtra, they are found to be endemic. Next, please. Okay, look at the spectrum of IDD. What can happen? Goiter, as I mentioned. Cretinism in children. Pregnant women, spontaneous abortion, stillbirth, birth defect, defect in speech, hearing. Above all, loss of IQ points, 13 IQ point loss, which will lead to mentally handicapped person. Apart from this, if consistently somebody is having thyroid, it will affect your brain, it will affect your heart, and so on. So many things can happen due to this IDD that you must remember. Next one. Okay, now let us see how it is diagnosed and how the therapy is carried out. So first I will describe about the in vivo diagnosis. So a glass of orange juice which contains iodine 131 is given to the patient. You can look at the activity, it's very small, 10 microcurie. And once it reaches to the thyroid, you have to measure the gamma activity. have to keep your gamma camera about 20 centimeter away from the thyroid. And these counts which are measured, they are compared with the dummy thyroid, because you have to compare with the normal one. So you must have a dummy thyroid. And this continuously, you have to measure the counts after every 1 hour. Then you have to plot the graph, which is shown in the next one. Next slide, please. Okay, activities are measured as a function of time. So you can see the activity increases and decreases. That means whatever iodine is taken up by the patient, it reaches towards the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is a critical organ for iodine. Whatever iodine we take, it reaches to the thyroid gland only. So first it reaches to the thyroid gland. So we see increase in the activity. Then decay starts. So this is the type of curve we get. As we are comparing with the dummy one, you can see the normal one. Below this normal, we see the curve. It indicates hypothyroiditis. The above curve shows it is the hyperthyroiditis. So if it is a hypothyroiditis, you have to treat in different way. You have to take iodine-rich compounds, then medicines are prescribed, iodized salts, and so on. But if it is a hyperthyroiditis, again, we can treat this with the iodine radioisotope. Only one can give 200 microcurie of iodine 131, which will destroy the excess growth of it. So one can have diagnosis as well as therapy for thyroiditis, and therapy is for hyperthyroiditis. Hypothyroiditis, another way. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so these are the symptoms of hypothyroidism. So if you look at the symptoms, many people, they face some of these symptoms and they think, no, it is not a thyroiditis. I am feeling weak because my hemoglobin is low, I'm tired and so on. They think and they will not pay attention towards it. So symptoms shown here are fatigue. You will feel weak. And one of the important symptoms from which you can definitely say that you are having hypothyroidism is the weight gain. If in a month, if you get sudden increase in the weight, 1 to 3 kg weight is suddenly increase. It's not because your health is very good, that's why I'm put on weight and all these things. No, you must go to the physiology lab and see whether you are having this particular disease or your hair dry. You will think that yes, I'm not putting oil, that's why they are dry. But no, this is one of the symptoms. Hair loss is also that there. You see the skin is very pale, very dry. Then you cannot tolerate the cold environment. Cramps will come in your muscles. So you think, oh, I'm tired, that's why there are cramps in my leg. But no. Constipation, depression, irritability. Sometimes you forget something, memory loss, abnormal menstrual cycles. All these are the symptoms. So if you find any of such symptoms, you can say that I have to go to the doctor and find out whether I'm having the hypothyroidism. Similar type of symptoms we can see for the hyperthyroiditis. Go to next slide, please. Okay, so there is change in your appetite. Whatever you are eating previously, though it is not the same, you will not get sleep properly, insomnia, you get tired. Now see the difference, hyper and hypo. In hypo, there is a sudden weight gain. Here, sudden weight loss in a month. So that, no, you will think that I'm doing exercise, that's why I'm losing my weight, but it will not lose very fast. So you have to be very careful. Heart palpitation, that you get sweating, then breathing is not proper, you feel nervous, irritation and all. These are the symptoms of hyperthyroidism. What happens is if you see these symptoms, so these are similar to some of the other symptoms. So you never think of that you are having thyroiditis. But better you go to doctor. Nowadays, there are many tests doctor has to do. And people usually avoid because cost is a little bit higher, but this is important for our health. So actually through our Indian Women Scientists Association conducted several health camps, and then we examined the children, women, and all of it. And we never thought that this person is having thyroid, but we found that they are having thyroid. They were not aware of it. So it is always important to frequently check such things. So thyroid one can have at any age. Myself, because I'm studying in this particular subject of thyroiditis, our project was on it. I found some of these symptoms in me, so I thought I must go to doctor because I'm working on it. I know what are the symptoms. I went to doctor and I found to have hypothyroidism. So I started taking the medicines and all. Now it is coming to normal. But these are the lifetime medicines you have to take for hypothyroidism. Please remember that. Once it comes to the normal stage, you think of, oh, I'm normal now. But no. Just like diabetes, you need to take every day some medicine. Same way for thyroid also, you need to take some medicine. So just I want to make you people aware, you may be having, may not be having also. It is better if you don't have it, but don't neglect to such symptoms. That is my advice. Next, please. Okay, now I will tell you for thyroiditis in vivo we have seen, but as you know, people, they are afraid of using radioisotopes. So no, I don't want to take orange juice, even it is orange juice because it contains radioactivity. Then how to measure? So it is in vitro diagnosis. And for this purpose, radioimmunoassay, that is RIA technique is used. As shown here, the reaction is shown here. AG stands for ligand, which is to be measured. That is thyroid hormone, which is to be measured for thyroid test. AG star stands for the radiolabeled ligand. AB stands for the antibody. So this is nothing but an immune reaction between the antigen and the antibody. So the unbound labeled antigen and other, which is excess, they are washed out, and the radioactivity, which is bound to the residue, is measured. And this ligand concentration is inversely related to the radioactivity. Next, please. Next one. So it is just the lock and key type, that is antigen and antibody. A particular antigen will bound to particular antibody only. So here they are labeled, radio-labeled and unlabeled hormones, thyroid hormones are shown, and corresponding antibodies are also shown. So they form the complex, antigen-antibody complex, and excess are given out, and that is measured. Next one, please. Okay, how this is done? So you have to take a known amount of the test sample. We take the serum sample of the patient. Then you have to add the labeled antigen in the test tube. Then you have to incubate. That is, you have to keep it for a certain time interval so that the reaction will be complete. Then you have to decant the solution so that unbound will go, bound will remain. And this radioactivity will be measured either with the GM counter or with the scintillation count. And as I mentioned, this radioactivity will be proportional to the antigen concentration. It's highly sensitive to very low concentration of the antigens. Next, please. So this is the type of curve which we get, from which we'll come to know how much is the concentration of the hormone in a particular person. Next one, please. Okay, so in our research group, we have carried out this work. So children, as I mentioned, children and pregnant women, they are more prone to the thyroiditis. So what we selected Pune city and nearby area as well as some villages. Then RIA kits, they were supplied by BRIT, which are used for the diagnosis. And for this, we need the serum sample from the person. And we received the research grant from BCUD SPPU as well as UGC UP phase 2. Next, please. Okay. So taking into consideration prevalence of IDD in pregnant women and children, so the work was undertaken to examine the status. So how many, as I mentioned, Pune and around, then Baramati as well as tribal area of Mulshi was selected. Total samples collected were 450. And for measuring the thyroid hormone concentration, RI technique was used, and these kits were given by Britt. Next, please. Okay, which are those kits? So different names are given. Bria Mac 3 RI kit is used to measure T3. So those who had done by any chance the thyroid test, what they measure is T3, T4, and TSH. These are the thyroid hormones. So T3 is total triiodothyronine. So its normal range of T3 is 0.7 to 2.1 nanogram per ml. For T4, that is total thyroxine, Briamac 4 RI kit is used. The normal range is 55 to 135 nanogram per ml. For measuring TSH, IRMAC 9 RI kit is used. Its normal range is 0.17 to 4.05 nanogram per ml. Okay, once you estimate the concentration, if these concentrations are less than the range mentioned here, it means hypothyroiditis. If these concentrations are greater than the range mentioned here, it is hyperthyroiditis. And as I mentioned, the technique is highly sensitive. You can see, you can go to nanogram level. Next, please. Okay, so what our results were? In Pune around area, out of 163 pregnant women, 75 were found to be prone to hypothyroidism. Out of 92 children, 34 were found to be prone to hypothyroidism. In Baramati and Murshi area, out of 80 pregnant women, 53 were found to be prone to hypothyroidism. And out of 80 children, 34% were found to be prone to hypothyroidism and 55% were normal. And 11% were also found to be hyperthyroidism. Yes, they may be prone to that. So it is not only hypo will occur, hyper is also possible. Next one, please. Okay, so till now we have seen about the diagnosis. Now let us go to the therapy section. So the radiopharmaceuticals are also used for therapeutic purposes. So the aim is to destroy the specific portion of the diseased tissue. So that radiation source which we are using, it can be used internally inside the body or externally outside the body. These are the most commonly used radioisotopes, that is cobalt-60, iodine-125, and cesium-137. Next one, please. So it is usually called as radiotherapy. It is used for the treatment of tumors. One can divide radiotherapy therapy in two parts, teletherapy and brachytherapy. In case of teletherapy, the radiation source is kept at a distance from the patient. While in case of brachytherapy, it is kept inside the patient, that is inside near the diseased portion. Next, please. Okay, what is the requirement for using radiotherapy? The radiopharmaceutical which we are using must be in the solid form, as well as non-leachable in the matrix. It should be stable against heat and radiation. Specific activity should be high. The size of the source should be smaller. Then it should be inert towards the encapsulating material, because you have to keep in certain material. The activity should be uniform within the source. Whatever size it should be at each point, activity should be the same. It can be prepared easily, and most importantly, it should be economical also. Next one. Okay, these are the commonly used radioisotopes for the radiotherapy. 192 iridium. It is prepared by N-gamma reaction. It is in the form of a wire. Half-life is 74 days. And this is the energy. Cobalt-60, which is very widely used. It is also prepared by N-gamma reaction. It is in the form of pellet, reasonably high half-life. This is externally used, of course. Then 137 cesium by uranium fission, iodine-125. As we have seen how the synthesis of radioisotope is carried out, one is by decay of radioisotope itself. So this is the example, decay of xenon 125. These are other isotopes are also mentioned here. Next one, please. Okay, so how it looks like. Okay, so this is kept in a shielded one. The cobalt source is kept. The thick heavy metal is there. Then there is a slit through which the radiations are coming, and then it reaches toward the patient. Next, please. Okay, then brachytherapy, as I mentioned, you have to keep the source inside the patient. So these are used for the following cancers. It is uterus, cervix, prostate, bone, eye. I'll show you the example for the eye. Next, please. So this is for this treatment of retinoblastoma. So this is a type of eye cancer. Usually it is due to the genetic character, and it is present as a white reflux. So it cannot be ignored. Otherwise, the person will lose them. That is, it is found in the children. Some of you may have seen the Oscar-nominated film Schwarz. In that, it is shown that that child was having this retinoblastoma. At the end of the picture, it is shown that his eye is to be removed. But no, radiopharmaceuticals can be used to treat this eye cancer. So next one. Next, please. Sir, go to, yeah. So this work is carried out in our research group for this treatment of retinoblastoma we have prepared. So iodine-125 radiation plaque was prepared. Its half-life is 60 days, energy is 28 keV. You can see how small activity is needed, 100 megabecquerel, and it is absorbed on the palladium silver rod. And it is encapsulated in the titanium capsule. Size is very small, 0.8 millimeter diameter and length 4.75 millimeter. So this work we have carried out in collaboration with Radiopharmaceutical Division of BARC. Next one. Okay, so this is an enlarged view of that plaque which we have prepared. It is shown size just now I mentioned. So it is kept inside this eye of that child for 3-4 days, and by operation it is removed, and it is totally cured and no any other symptoms afterwards found. Next one, please. Okay. So I thought that I should say something about COVID-19, wherein radiopharmaceuticals were used. So here, just now we mentioned about computed tomography. So high resolution computed tomography was used for the screening, diagnosis, and monitoring of the patient recovery from COVID-19. In that period, this technique was used. So multiple X-ray measurements were taken from different angles so that we can get the cross-sectional view of it. Next one. So this CT scan identify COVID-19 related lesions in that person and track how the disease is progressing. And the sensitivity of this technique for COVID-19 diagnosis was found to be 97.2%. Next one. Okay, so FDP we have seen while discussing about PET technique. That uptake is high and it indicated evidence of lymph node in the particular person. So this COVID-19 induced pneumonia were also observed in asymptomatic patients, because those who were having symptoms, they were found, but there are some asymptomatic patients also during COVID-19. In their studies also, they shown to have actual COVID-19 by this PET-CT technique. Next one. Okay. So one of the first study on for this COVID-19 patient was done at Emory University Hospital. 10 COVID-19 patients were taken with those who were having severe pneumonia, sorry, having oxygen and all, and visibly they were deteriorating. Median age was 78 with a range from 40 to 32104. So low dose of radiation was given, that is 1.5 gray to both the lungs. And patients, only 10 to 15 minutes, they were there in that particular radiation therapy room. Next, please. So within 24 hours, 9 of the patients showed rapid improvement in oxygenation as well as mental status. And they were discharged after 12 days. So this is an indication how these particular techniques are useful in all different diseases. Next one. So similar results, this is the example given from the foreign countries. Similar results were also observed at AIIMS facility in New Delhi. How much dose was given is 0.7 gray. In many countries use this therapy for treating the COVID-19 patients. Next one. Okay, so this is all about how diagnosis is done, how therapy is given. But what are the probable effects? Because people are always interested to know what will happen if I take radiation therapy and all. So generally these effects are not seen immediately after because this treatment is not a single treatment. It is given in cycles, small doses, they are given in cycle. So they are observed after second or third cycle of radiation therapy. So what are some of the common effects? You must have seen some cancer patients around you. The fatigue, vomiting, hair loss. So these are some of the common effects. So for brain, after treating with the radiation therapy, fatigue, vomiting, hair loss, dry skin, headache, eyesight, they are getting affected. In case of breast cancer therapy, fatigue, hair loss, swelling, skin gets affected. And in case of chest, fatigue, hair loss, dry skin, throat ache, and breathing problem. So these are some of the effects, but they will not be there for a very long time. Next one. What are the precautions which are to be taken while we are using the radiopharmaceutical, either for the diagnosis or for the therapeutic purposes? As an example, I have taken the use of iodine 131 for the diagnosis and therapy because I have discussed a lot about thyroid. That's why I want to take this example. The first thing, precaution which is to be taken is do not consume food which contains iodine before few weeks of the treatment. Why? Because whatever iodine you are taking is going towards your thyroid gland. It will remain there and it will affect actual uptake of the treatment which you are taking for this radiopharmaceutical. And another thing is when the radioiodine is used, it will decrease our WBC. That's why infection may occur. So that person has to take care. It should not come in contact with the person having some infectious disease. The person has to drink more water. He should avoid the contact with others. His clothes and other belongings are to be kept separate because they may show some radioactivity. Next one. By the way, this Marie Curie's clothes are still radioactive because you know radium is having the half-life of 1600 years. So if you go to the museum, don't go and touch the clothes. Okay, the next one is flush twice after using the toilet. Patient must be hospitalized unless its radiation dose, it should come less than 5 rem per hour. That is to be measured. Then floor must be covered with the plastic or absorbing materials. Then RSO means radiation safety officer. It's his duty to see that the radioactivity should decrease to less than 200 dpm per 100 square centimeter before that room is allotted to the next person. Next one. Okay, at the end, what I can say is radiopharmaceuticals can be used in diagnosis and therapy for large number of diseases, and the number of applications are still increasing. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any doubts, question, you can ask. You can stop sharing the screen, I think.
Participants can ask the question for any doubts. Any doubts? Participants can ask the questions. Unmute all participants. All participants are unmuted.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Definitely audible.
Ma'am, it's a very nice talk on radio pharmaceuticals. I have 2 or 3 queries. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can ask.
So the peoples are using the radium-like
Speak
materials
loudly,
to
Anil.
Yeah.
paint the walls or their watches, and some of the radioactive materials are used to treat the foods. So what are the adverse effect of that particular thing?
What you said, it is used for?
Food treatment, like a preservative to preserve the foods
Yeah,
or
yeah,
some.
that is another. That is a
Sorry?
misconception among the people. When radioactivity is used, that is, radiations are used to preserve the food. Your food
Yeah.
will not become radioactive, not at all, because how much is the energy? You can see energy is very less.
Yeah.
It will not convert them into radioactive material. In fact, it will destroy these microorganisms and all, and it will remain for very long time. That will be the another lecture subject. It's a very vast subject.
Okay.
But I am telling you, don't be afraid of it. There is no change in taste. It is the same. In fact, it is more healthier, we can say, and safe also.
Yeah, ma'am, another query is you have discussed about the thyroid treated some samples you have collected
Yes,
from the
yes,
Pune
yes,
region,
yes.
right? So how much salts they are taking, because everyone is taking the iodine mixed salt. Okay,
That is
so you
right,
have
right.
given that data to our store or gone through that
I will tell
data,
you
and
that.
another
That is
query,
a,
you have
yeah.
another issues that you have said that during the COVID-19, several patients was treated by using the radiological instruments or some radioactive materials. So what are the possibility after if we find out that somebody has a cancer, and if we are treating with the radioactive material, then it is okay. But if he has not a cancer and we are treating another diseases by using the radioactive material, so what are the possibilities to have the cancer
There are two
or to
different
rise the
questions.
cancer in that particular patient?
Let me answer your first question about the
Yes.
hyperthyroiditis and use of salt and all these things. So as there were many cases, government made compulsory to use the iodized salt. Huh?
Yeah.
Then many people have excess of iodine, and there are many hyperthyroiditis cases also. So afterwards, this ban was lifted by the government, and it is up to the person, his or her choice, whether to use iodized salt or not. Because there are cases of excess iodine and hyperthyroid. Okay, that's why the ban is lifted now. So you can use simple salt, is not necessary. Again, another point among it is, anybody knows how much is iodine in iodized salt? You bother to see the packet of iodine? Anybody has seen? If not, better when you buy the packet, you check it. It is 15 ppm, that is 15 milligram per kg in the form of KiO3. So we have undertaken that project also. Even though it is mentioned on that, it is yes 15 ppm or whatever it is never 15 ppm, less or only few branded companies, they have that much. So that precaution is also important. And now it is not necessary you should have iodized salt. Oh, of course, if you are having hypothyroid, you must take iodized salt. Otherwise, you can use rock salt. It is no iodine. Then another question you asked, it is used for cancer treatment, and if somebody is not having a cancer and using it. So first thing is this activity radiations are used in very small quantities. When cancer will have it, is very high amount of radiations are given continuously. It is not, it is, as I mentioned in for one of the first slides, how much activity is, how much doses is very, very
Yeah.
small. It's just to
Yes.
diagnose, just to
Yeah.
treat. And risk to benefit ratio is also important to treat the cancer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope it is clear to you now.
Yes, ma'am. It's okay. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a nice one.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody want to ask a question?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Am I audible? Myself, Dr. Nitin Pagar from Pune. I have
Yes.
just one query regarding how do you see the future scope of nuclear fuels?
For scope for the students, no, no, as we have seen,
Students as well as for our energy problem, solving energy problem.
energy problem, that is another point. It is nuclear power program. So nuclear energy is very safe. It is a green energy and all these things. So it will definitely solve our problems. As far as scope to the student is considered, just now I mentioned there are 520 nuclear radiation centers. So it can be the PT, X-rays, all this. They can become a technician. He can become oncologist. There are so many this, and there are many universities and many institutes where these courses are there. Some of them are after 12th also. So tell your students not to be afraid of radioactivity. There is a lot of scope for you.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for this nice lecture. Madam explained very, very nicely about the radioactivity and history from the earlier days, synthesis of radioisotopes, and it was started from 200 to now it up to the above the 2000 radioisotopes are synthesized nowadays. There are various, I can say there are several types of uses of the radioisotopes in the medicinal. So there are different types of pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals are there. Ma'am explained very, very, very nicely and very in detail the uses in the uses in the medicine as a radioisotope. So thank you very much, ma'am. Now it's time to vote of thanks of all the members here. So I pay my sincere thanks to today's chief guest, respected Dr. Tushar Jirande, President KVPS Sanstha Shirpur, Trustee Mr. Rohit Jirande, KVPS Sanstha, and nominated Trustee Dr. S.N. Patel Sir, Professor S.S. Rajput, Principal of our college and Dean of Science and Technology, KBC New Jalgaon, Professor D.H. Moore Sir. He is Director, School of Chemical Sciences, KBC New Jalgaon, and again resource person, respected Professor Digim Rajurkar Madam, Vice Principal of our college, Professor F.M. Babu Sir, Coordinator of this FDP, Dr. L.P. Chaudhary Sir, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. D.K. Bhakkar, Organizing Secretary of this FDP, Dr. P.G. Patil Sir, and all the members of committee and all the participants. So thank you all of you and all technical team members, Suniti Sir and Sandip Chaudhary Sir, S.R. Patil Sir, Tubi Mali Sir. Thank you all of you. Okay. So participants can notice that feedback link will be shared to WhatsApp group. So all students are required to fill the form of feedback link. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
all
you.
and best wishes to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
this nice lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Sir, thank you.
Okay.